No. Hi.
Who do I look at the camera or you?
You can look wherever you want.
Okay.
This is new for
Hi.
me and for you. Hi, so I'm Tiffany here with Multifaceted. And I have my great friend, Marissa Ramirez, who is an Emmy-nominated, huh? You worked on an Emmy-nominated show called Red Table Talk, the Steffens, right?
Yes, I did.
She's also worked on shows that you've seen before, like Survivor. You may have seen Dancing with the Stars.
Yes.
You've worked on, The World's Toughest Race.
Yes.
Okay, can you tell me a little bit about that show? So I wanted to know, tell me a little bit about The World's Toughest Race.
A little bit. Okay. So to sum it up, we basically covered adventure racers. So these are people that do hiking, they do ultra running, they paddleboard. It's just a race that's out in the elements, and I was able to be part of like a 600-man crew and production team where we followed this race of theirs, and it was called Eco Challenge.
So an Eco Challenge, what is that?
Eco Challenge is a race. It actually originated more than 2 decades ago. They had started it in Fiji, and that's actually where Mark Burnett kind of got inspired to do the show Survivor. And he's the executive producer of the show Survivor.
Which is amazing.
Great show.
Love Survivor.
My first job ever, so I'm like very attached to it. So Mark Burnett, they do this Eco Challenge. They call it that because you're going to be in the elements. You get to discover and enjoy the culture of all these different countries or the topography of it. So you get to go and just be in it.
Now, I know these show survivors are crazy, and this is called The World's Toughest Race.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, what was like the scariest thing that's happened on the show?
When we shot it, I mean, you're in the middle of the weather, you can't control it. So the craziest thing, we had this kayaking portion of the race.
Now, can I just tell you, I fell out of a kayak in a cave on Channel Islands. That's easy.
Oh my God.
So what happened where it's another story, but I did. I went to Target looking busted up because they didn't even have Channel Islands. They're like, we don't have Band-Aids or peroxide because this land is sacred. So I had to drive all bloody. After I got off, I was on the ferry, bleeding, looking crazy.
Oh, wow.
And people were just like, these things happen. So then I had to go to Target, and I went in there wet, bloody, and I was like, I need iodine and peroxide, and I'm sure I was just looking like a crazy person, but...
Wow, you could have done the world's toughest race.
So let's talk about what really happened, because those waters were fine.
So we filmed in Fiji, and over all the islands of Fiji, and it was about a 600-kilometer race, or around 400 miles. So what we had to do, there was a portion that we actually filmed, it was kayaking through a canyon. Well, in this race... Fiji, monsoon season, torrential rain. There was a portion of the race at the very beginning of it where there was flash flooding. So these canyons and rivers that were a certain height all of a sudden grew by like 10 feet. So as this was happening, this is the World's Toughest Race, Eco Challenge, adventure racing in general, 24 hours. There's no pausing. It's not like your conventional marathon or a conventional running race.
So they just have to like power through no matter what.
They power through no matter what.
10 feet of water. Doesn't matter.
Yes. However, in this case, it was dangerous. You know, people could get lost. So we did have to shut it down.
Drown and die.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Okay. So in that one, they did.
Like, well, they just might die for real. So
we can't have that on our hands.
Yeah.
That was not a good look.
That's not good TV.
So we did have to shut it down, but there was a team that was trapped in there. And how they get out, it's a lot of fun. You can see it on Amazon Prime, and it's a little cliffhanger.
Now, was that scary for you to watch, or scary for them to participate in?
I think it was both. So whenever there was a team that got stuck in the canyon, I was actually on the other side of the island on a boat, grabbing a camera, because I was following the very last
to film
team.
How terrified they were?
Exactly. I was filming the last team that hadn't even gotten to that part. And so I was going there, and it was a rainstorm, and I was in this speedboat, and then we hit a reef, and then I had to get rescued and go to another.
What? So they had to rescue the rescuer? No, that's crazy. That's my life. Okay.
That ended up happening to me, and so they had to rescue me. And so, I mean, honestly, it was thrilling more than scary. It was fun. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it was fun for me, too. Like, Target, that was a little bit embarrassing, but, I don't know. I felt like I was in a movie, but what are you going to do? So... okay. the world's toughest race, you were in Fiji and LA. Did you guys go anywhere else?
No, it was only the way that they do the racing. They usually pick one zone. So that was Fiji was a host country. It was also like an anniversary edition because 20 years prior is when they did the last Eco Challenge. So we were
every 20 years.
Well,
so people can forget.
Exactly.
People died on this. We won't film this again for another 20 years. Don't forget.
You should see the original Eco Challenge. Mark Burnett, he did it, and it was crazy. There was this girl who got one little cut. By the end of it, her team got disqualified because the whole hand was swollen. It was. I don't know if she kept her hand, but they had to disqualify.
That's nice.
Yeah.
And so she got disqualified because she got injured?
I mean, she quit.
Oh, she quit.
Well, it wasn't like she quit, but yes, she got injured. And so any sort of disqualification disqualifies the whole team.
Dang, she got no money. She got to keep her hand.
No one wins. Oh, well, she got to keep her hand. Priceless.
What a fun game.
Yeah, it's great. It's wonderful.
Okay, so all your shows, so from Red Table Talk, Dancing with the Stars, you worked on, Finding Love with Oprah on the OWN Network.
Oh, OWN Network, yes. It was Ready to Love.
Ready to Love. Okay, so out of all of these, which one was your favorite?
World's Toughest Race.
That was your favorite?
That's been my favorite so far.
Why?
I do a lot of, so it's funny, as a reality producer and as a freelancer, you get to do a variety of things, and I get to become a professional in whatever we are highlighting. So it can be anything from a dating show, and I become like this therapist.
Which I want to get into that.
We'll talk about that. And then I started to learn about adventure racing, and then I've done shows at ESPN, and I've been able to do like a boxing show called Contender, and I learned so much about boxing, and then I've done MMA. So it's really fun, so what you get to do. And I think doing the one in Fiji, and it was like right before the pandemic, and I felt like I was really coming to my own into doing something that scared me.
Yeah.
I'm not at all an adventure person. I learned how to hike through my friend Heather. Like, I didn't grow up with that. I grew up in the flatlands of Houston, Texas. Yeah. Big up Houston. So it was so out of my element that I got to do it, and I survived it. So it was fun.
That's awesome. So overcoming your fear is something that really
huge
made you like, this is impactful for you.
100%.
So out of all the things you've been working on all these different shows, would you say like that's been the biggest lesson that you've learned working on these shows is overcoming your fear? Oh,
yes. I would say the biggest lessons is along that. It's imposter syndrome, overcoming a fear of not being good enough, overcoming my fear of being...
That's a big one.
Yeah. Because so much of my life, it's been difficult. Like, do I deserve this? Or am I even qualified for this? And then I go and I jump in, and I am. And I'm definitely capable. And I think that's why with the World's Toughest Race, it's like I don't go out and do adventure. I've never camped by myself. I've done a half marathon, and honestly, someone dragged me through the finish line. So I'm not that person. Yeah. However, I know I'm a good producer, and I'm willing to always try something once and overcome it. And I did it. And it's like, oh, do I deserve to be here? But that's still a fear of, am I being less than? Am I even good enough for that? Yeah. Even the dating shows, I have a fear of, can I get these people to draw them out, to get them to be vulnerable? Will they be open to me?
So tell me about this. How do you draw them out? What part of your job, what does that look like to draw them out?
So as a story producer, so I am a story producer for the most part. And what we do, and my job is to tell the story. And that may sound simple, but someone who is not a trained actor or someone who's in front of the camera, she's trained. Someone who isn't, it is my job to then get them to tell their story but feel comfortable in front of the camera. So if someone is in a dating show or an adventure show, that's not their occupation.
Right.
I need to ask the questions that will give that clarity.
So, but you're not the host. So does that mean that you are writing questions for the host?
It can be a myriad of things. So as producers, we do have different concentrations, and we do have a host producer who would do that along with the host. As a story producer for different cast members or teams, I write the questions, and so whenever they are interviewing and you see those snippets of the interview,
when those are and like when Johnny said he didn't love me anymore, it just reminded me of when I got rejected in 3rd grade.
Yes.
Oh, that's you?
Yeah, we interview them, and you never hear my voice, but I come up with the questions.
That's
that
awesome.
Yeah.
How fun.
It is.
Okay, that's cool. So that's when you're doing the during the show, because you also do post-story production?
Yeah, so there are different facets. We have producers that are on the field, actually filming, following it on the ground, boots on the ground. Then there is another facet where we take it to edit. Particularly different production companies like to take their producers that were in the field to post. So that's what I did, for example, on World's Toughest Race. A lot of Mark Burnett shows do that, MGM shows. So I went from the field and I took it to post, and I work with an editor who is completely gifted and just an artist in putting it together. But I go over an outline on how the story will play out. Because there is an arc. There's always a beginning, middle, and end.
Yeah, for sure.
So if I have this cast member that I didn't know was going to pop and stand out or have this amazing story, but I do know it now that I reached the end.
You go back.
I go back and I get those pieces of footage that will support that and also tell their story of how they started from A and then ended up at the
that's
end.
so cool. How fun. I want to be on a show. A dating one.
Okay.
So I want you to tell me a little bit about, what is it, Ready for Love?
Yes, Ready to Love.
Ready to Love. Now, this was on OWN Network, right?
This one is on the OWN Network, yes.
Did you meet Oprah? She's my inspiration.
I did not.
You didn't meet Oprah?
No.
What?
It was in the middle of COVID, so
Oh.
everything was very remote.
Yes, like my love life. Okay, cool. So this show, you didn't meet Oprah. Did you meet anybody that was like a potential candidate for you?
For me. So when we work on these shows,
Because you worked on The Bachelor too, right?
I did on Bachelorette and Bachelor in
Were
Paradise.
there anybody that you were like, they didn't give you a rose, but I have one for you?
Well, we signed these NDAs and we actually have to be very professional. We're not allowed to ever fraternize.
So you're not like,
cast members.
you have this great story arc. Let me look more into this. No, you can't.
No, I have to. I am
Okay.
there to find them love, and that is
Okay.
my goal. My love life is separate from any of the cameras.
Is it though?
It is.
Okay, cool. No, I I love it because I'm like, we have to talk to some of these people. Like, you didn't get any roses, but
I
okay,
didn't get any
alright.
roses. No.
So, but were there any of the guys that you thought?
Oh my gosh. Anyone that's in front of the camera is beautiful. Like, whenever they're casted, there's a whole casting department. You scout all through the nation. You get the cream of the crop. I mean, how are you not just like smitten by everyone? They're so charismatic and they're on TV for a reason and they're big characters. So, yeah, I mean, as viewers at home watch the show and they have their favorites, you of course start to.
But have any of them flirted with you?
I mean, everyone's really tried to shoot their shot in life.
Okay. I
Yeah.
love how you're answering these questions. There's an NDA.
I mean, everyone shoots their shot with whoever they find.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fun. Okay. Because, I mean, look, I'm ready. I'm ready to love.
Yeah,
so
you
are
are.
they doing another season of this?
I don't know. We'll see if they do. It did pretty well, but I don't know if they're going to do another season. There's just so many dating shows out there. So you have a plethora to choose from and to submit for.
Okay.
Tiffany, you should.
Yeah. So what? Do I go to, what is it, Backstage West? What is it nowadays? I mean,
The different shows. If you're like Love is Blind, all the new ones that are coming out there, you could go into their website, submit for the casting.
okay, yeah, because I'm ready for love.
We all are.
Ready to love. You
All
know what
of
I'm
us.
saying?
All of us.
And be loved.
I love you.
So I love you. Yay, we're ready. We already have what we need. So Marissa, with you travel a lot for these shows. You go to many different places. You've been, I feel like all over the world with these shows, pretty much. How do you stay grounded, like being away from your friends and your family and the things that you believe in? Like, how do you stay grounded when you are in another country with a group of bachelors in paradise or, whatever, wherever you may be? How do you stay grounded?
Oh, it's a good question because it's something that you have to think about when you work in this profession. Mm-hmm. My first job ever in this profession was on Survivor. So the first thing, whenever I was interviewing, all they kept telling me was, you're going to be gone for 6 months. away from everyone you
6
know.
months.
You can't tell them where you're at. It's top secret. The NDA was really big. And I just remember I was 27. I was like, I'm having fun. I don't care. But you don't think about these things. And it's very glamorized. But you are away from your system, from your people, from your group, your community, your family even. So what I've learned throughout the years after doing this for now 12 years.
Wow. 12 years already.
12 years, yeah. If you do the math right, you know my age. I'm kidding. 38 and thriving.
Okay. I'm 35.
Oh, I'm your elder. No, but what I've learned is being away, I learned that I need my consistent group of people at home. I need to continually connect with them. And it's also given me the opportunity of training that muscle, being able to acclimate. Like I just recently, a year ago, moved to New York City after living in LA for 14 years. So it's the people you surround yourself with, your friends, those constant connections. I have girlfriends that I connect with on Marco Polo. We have a little group.
Okay.
It's a virtual connection. I have those friends that pray with me. I have those friends that I can call to for advice. I have people that reach out to me as much as I reach out to them. It's not many. And what I've learned throughout my life, I was very much abundance. I need all the friends. Everyone's my best friend. And I do love that about myself, but I've learned that quality is so much more important than quantity. So I have this core group. I connect with them. I process with them. Therapists. I've had a therapist. I need to process. And that has been the best to keep me grounded. But it's also, I'm adventurous. I get bored easily. So this lifestyle actually works for me.
Right.
But the consistent friendships that I've had for over a decade are what keep me going. And my dog. I travel with my dog. I'm lucky. I know not everyone has that luxury. I, for whatever reason, have that luxury. Thank God. So honestly, she keeps
my
me
dog
grounded.
won't travel. My dog is afraid of windshield wipers, so I can't imagine when
He's so good.
But he's not trying to get. I don't know. I might test it out, do like an hour flight somewhere.
Yeah.
But he's we'll figure it out.
He's doing good right now. He's in a crate.
He's doing great right now, but
chilling.
Yeah, because you're here. We're not in an airport. So
chilling.
I would love to get my dog to fly because I'm trying to travel. So if I can bring him everywhere, but we'll see how that goes. Galaxy, my good boy. But has this been producing reality TV? Is this what you wanted to do? Did you always want to be a producer?
No. I knew I always wanted to work in. It's so funny. I just blanked out on the word and I thought about it in Spanish. Farandula, which basically...
Ooh, farandula.
Farandula.
Is that like giving birth to babies? Or not giving birth, but like helping deliver babies?
No, it has nothing to do with that. But
Farandula,
doula.
yeah.
Oh, I love how that... No,
okay.
But that's great. No, I knew I always wanted to be in the world of showbiz. So in the world of TV and movies.
Hooray for Hollywood.
Yeah.
Okay.
That one. So I wanted to become an actress. The whole purpose of me moving to LA was I was going to become a famous actress. I was like, I'm doing it.
So did you audition? You got headshots?
No. I was completely self-esteem, mid-20s, did not like myself, didn't do anything. And I basically just...
So like you came out here and you froze?
100%.
Did you have a plan coming out here?
Yeah, so I had a family member who lived here who was also in TV. Like, he was a struggling actor. And so I was like, I'm going to go on auditions and I'm going to join Backstage. Is that what it's called? Or Actors Access. Yeah. All the things. I was like, I'm going to do that. I had gotten my degree in musical theater. So it's like, I know how to direct. I know how to act. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to go out there and do auditions. And I got here and immediately I just saw the people. I had myself, I didn't like myself.
So you came out here, you saw everybody, and you felt, I'm not good enough, so I'm giving up.
100%. And so I didn't do that. And what that opened the doors for me, though, was I met friends who worked in the industry, who worked on, like, The Apprentice, and who worked on different shows. And so, because I was so scared of being in front of the camera, I was like, hey, I want to work in TV. Mm-hmm. And that's all I thought about. It's like, I want to work in TV. Don't know what that means. Had no idea that there were producers for reality shows. I watched The Hills growing up and Laguna Beach. I thought it was all real.
Okay.
So I had no idea that this was planned out. So a friend of mine who worked for TV, he worked for the same company that did Survivor, and that's how I started. But I wanted to become a famous actress and I didn't do it.
Do you still want to do acting?
As I've grown older, I realize I love to perform, but it is not now. It is no longer this desire. And so many times I've definitely reconciled with, I just want to love myself, because I think from the performing and from the acting, I was trying to get validation.
Okay.
And so now that I'm older and I have the validation, I would love to perform, but I don't need it. But I do. I love being in front of the camera. Or not that I've done it professionally, but I just love performing. I love improv. I love all that.
So what happened for you is you had this dream, but it wasn't rooted in the craft as much as it was rooted in, I want to get validation. I want to be famous,
yes,
more than the actual, I love acting.
100%.
Or I like, you like performing, but it's not like, I have to do this with my life.
Yeah. I realize that definitely hindsight's 20/20, because I didn't
Always,
think that was
right?
that wasn't the case growing up. I literally would pray at bed at night. It's like, if I don't act, I'm going to die. Like,
yeah,
my purpose in life is done. It was just this thing.
But you bring up a good point, right? Because being someone who's creative, there's different ways of telling, acting is storytelling, right? Mm-hmm. Music is telling a story, right? It's evoking emotion. It's helping somebody recognize something new. And so there's many ways to do that, whether it's acting, it's singing, it's theater, it's what you're doing. Like you said, you tell stories,
yeah,
on so many different shows. And you have the opportunity to actually craft it using different people. And I think that's amazing to kind of recognize that it's not just, acting isn't just one thing, right? Yeah. Performing isn't just one way. It's not just TV. It's not just a movie. It's many ways to tell a story. So I think that's a great thing to recognize and understand, so you can be grounded in yourself and what you're doing. And because a lot of people, I feel like growing up in LA, being an LA native, I've seen so many people, and somebody who's in the field of acting, right, and entertainment as well. I see a lot of people, like when I was in acting class, I'm from Oklahoma, I'm from Idaho, I'm from somewhere. Yeah. And, they come out here and then they're not grounded. They miss their families. Acting's not turning out the way they want to. So they give up and they go back home, which is not a bad thing. Like, I think it's good to understand what are your boundaries? What can you take, you know, and being able to develop, that self-awareness to know, well, where do you feel like you belong? And good for you for coming out here and trying. Yeah. Because I think the worst thing is not even going after it. The fact that you're like, let me come out and do this. Hey, this isn't for me. Wow, this door opened and I went after it. Yep. And that's something that I admire about you. And that's a great way, I think, to overcome different fears, or, because you could have been sad. Oh, nobody looks like me and nobody's hiring me, and give up on life. And you didn't do that.
100%.
You stepped up to a plate and you went through doors, and now you're traveling the world and you've met so many great people. Who's been like your favorite person that you've met?
Ooh, favorite person that I've met.
Yeah, because I've met a lot of people, but there are some people that are just like so down to earth and generous in their spirit.
I really get excited when I tell the story of meeting Will Ferrell, because I got to meet him at ESPN.
What?
Yeah, I don't even have a photo. I know.
I love Will Ferrell.
He's actually the kindest person. I met him for a day. I was a talent booker on an ESPN Spanish sports talk show. So it was like the Spanish version of Sports Nation when that was on. And Will Ferrell, mind you, is a huge ESPN, huge sports fan. Okay. Like he went to school for sports journalism.
Oh my gosh, I'm glad he did comedy.
Right. But he's so down. So he's the kind of person that's like, ESPN wants me. For him, it's like, thank you, an honor. And it's like, what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
So I got to meet him, and I'll never forget. I go up to him, and he goes, "Hi, I'm William." And I'm like, well, I know who you are.
You're a William?
I know. I'm like, he's so professional, like trying to be professional with me. And I'm like, you're Will Ferrell. Oh, stop it. Like, I love you. So that was actually really cool and humbling, because he was just like, okay, what do you want me to do? And we did like a little bit where he was Harry Carey, and he did like this whole Dodgers call, and he was so into it, and it was like literally like a 10-minute bit. He's like, what do you want me to do? And I'm like, I don't know, Will Ferrell, you do you. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm a talent booker. Like, my cubicle.
You're the talent. You know what to do.
I know. Like,
I love you, but come on, get it together.
And I'm like, I don't know. But so that was really sweet, because that's it's like, awesome. The guy he's into it. He's so just like ready to go, and he knows his profession, but he knows what he loves, and is very humble. And that doesn't really happen in this industry. So he's great. Yeah.
Okay. So what are you working on next? What's next for you, Marissa?
So right now, for the past year and a half since the pandemic, I've been working on a show called Bar Rescue. It's been on for over a decade. Cult classic. It goes on Paramount Plus. It's a great show, hour-long reality show where we go and we renovate bars throughout the country.
Oh, cool.
So it's really fun. I've been story producing on that. So what that means is I go, we find the bars, I get to know the owners and the bartenders and the entire staff, and they are dysfunctional. They are bars that need to be rescued. They are bars that are like so deep in the mud, and they are asking their host, John Taffer, he's the host, to please consult them and also give them a free renovation and consultation so that their bar can be rescued. And I tell their stories, and I kind of pass all of that information along to the host, John Taffer. And in 36 hours, we renovate an entire bar.
How do you find these bars?
So we have a casting department. A lot of them are submitted, and a lot of it is cold calling. Okay. And going through different towns throughout the U.S. And it's like...
So if I go to a bar and I'm like, Marissa, this bar is whack. Can you guys come?
Yeah, they'll be part of the casting process.
Okay,
and then
I'll keep that in mind.
Yes,
okay.
If there's a whack bar, you're like, this place needs help.
I know somebody who could help you.
Yes.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah.
All right, Marissa. So, Bar Rescue. You can catch that. What did you say? Paramount Plus.
Paramount Plus. Yes.
Paramount Plus. And if you know anybody who does great construction, keep their numbers because I could always use a little renovation in my little place, which I love.
Is cute. It's a very beautiful place. I'm very proud of you.
I love it.
And I'm proud. Thank you for bringing me on. And
oh my gosh, I'm glad that you're here in town. I'm like, wow, what a short window. Let's set it up.
Yay!
So thank you for being my guest and my friend, and I love you.
I love you too. This was fun.
Yay!
All right. Thank you.